Hi there, I am just going to go through assignment number 2 in our Applied Theory course. So this assignment we started to talk about in class last week, and it's about nutrition, the assessment, and counseling. You are going to see under assignments here the new tab that I have here. So assignment 2 and all the forms you will need. I'm going to add into here the EMR forms, which will just be, there might be one other form I need to add, but essentially everything will be here for you. So the assignment is here, the one that says nutrition session, and if you click that, it will open the assignment for you to be able to read through. It is a large assignment. It is the biggest component of your mark, I would say, besides testing. So make sure you're really reading through it and ask questions if you have any. So the program-specific outcomes are here, cross-curricular themes are here. Oral health is directly influenced by a person's nutritional intake and dietary habits. For this reason, diet counseling is an important part of client education. In clinic, you will be marked on this, so this is your first opportunity to do that without having someone watching you on the clinic floor. So it's a good opportunity for you to practice. You're going to do this individually, but you will need an individual to complete a 3-day diet diary. So I recommend it's someone in the class because that would be ideal for you to work with someone in either class, doesn't matter, but it's ideal if it's a dental hygiene person. If you can't or don't want to do that, it can be someone from home. You're going to use this data to complete the forms that I have attached, and you will also be doing a written report. You're going to use the diet diary to create, record, and critique an audiovisual counseling session. The session will be for the person whom you did the food diary with. You can use equipment from Media Services if you like. It's free for students, or you can use your own phone or video camera. The session will be 5 minutes. When you're filling forms out, don't use real names. I don't necessarily need you to use real names, but of course if it's another student, then that's fine. You can use real names, but don't leave the forms around. So ultimately, privacy is important. These forms will have information on them, so I wouldn't put those names on any forms that you're going to be working on in the library or anywhere that someone else could see that information, okay? So part A is the clinic forms. So assume, first of all, that your client does have moderate gingivitis and risk for periodontitis. Because you won't have a full workup of your client, I'm going to just give you that information. Clinic forms will be completed individually and stapled in the correct order, and I have that order for you down below in a minute. Make sure the 3-day food record is complete, as well as the dietary and risk assessments form. Complete a qualitative analysis of the 3-day food record, which I've attached, and complete the second page of that for the assessment of karyogenicity of the diet. You're going to circle all the karyogenic foods in red. You're going to then look at the choices that the client has made around food and complete a table or chart that I've also attached, which is a nutrient chart, to help look at where the client might be missing. And it also helps you to have to look at oral and systemic health in the textbook and see what types of things the client should be getting from the food and where they might be lacking. You're going to develop a dental hygiene diagnosis, a goal, and again, you'll probably have a couple of these, and then implementations related to the diet. So there'll likely be a risk for caries, and then there will be some other diagnosis related to the diet. So if they're lacking something or in need of something. You can also relate it in with the gingivitis and risk for periodontitis. You'll record only those diagnoses. So this is not a full care plan with every single diagnosis. You don't have to necessarily include these, but these can be considered with your diet diagnosis. Part B is the report you're going to write. It's a short report, and it's on the impact of nutrition on periodontal disease. You want to discuss specific nutrients that affect the periodontium, and the report should be a minimum of 2 pages, and a maximum of 4 pages, not including the title page and reference sheet. References will be 1 to 2 textbooks and then scholarly journals or articles. This again will be submitted with the assignment, so you won't be handing this into Blackboard. And then part C is the counseling session, where you will be planning a diet counseling session for the client that you did your diet diary with. This must be incorporated into the assessment as well. Identify the dietary needs and role play. You'll use the forms provided. So there's a recommendations form that you'll be using. In the session, you want to make sure you're making eye contact, you're using Canada's Food Guide, and the client needs to be actively involved. So you'll want to make sure the client knows what you want them to do beforehand. The evaluation criteria is included here. So here's the forms to be stapled together in this order. I will provide these rubrics so you don't have to print the rubrics. So this is for the diet analysis, qualitative diet here. So you'll want to read through that for 13 marks. The carries component for 9. The recommendations form for 5. The report and video are below. So here is the recording, so the video. Communication is worth 16. The counseling with these points is worth 10. The educational content, is worth 12. And then any sort of follow-up is worth 6. And then this is the rubric for the written report out of 16. So the best column is here and the least marks is here. And you'll want to read through this again before you write your report. That will be an APA. That's the assignment. Back to Blackboard. The diet diary is here. So if you click on these, you will be able to open them and take a look at them. So here we have the diet diary. This is what your client will work on and fill in. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Where did they eat, when, with whom, for 3 days. The second page of that is the carries risk to be completed by you after you have read through this. So they complete this and then you will do the rest. The next form is the qualitative diet analysis. This form is a guide or a aid to help you with determining what the client is missing in their diet. So this is based on the current food guide. So day 1, 2, 3, how many fruits and vegetables, or what proteins, what whole grains, and did they drink water? The suggested amounts are here. Average per day is here. And then what difference? So are they short in any way? So this suggested amount, you'll compare that to what's above. The dietary recommendations, after you've done the qualitative analysis and the carries component, you will then do this dietary recommendations form. That is going to be Canada's Food Guide recommendations on this side, and what are the modifications that you and the client have discussed. So you can have some of this done ahead of time, but also you'll want to do some of it during the session so that you can be talking with the client as you're adding things in here. This nutrient chart is a component as well for you to do, and I talked about that. It's in the assignment instructions, and it is another chart to help you work through where deficiencies might be and how it affects the oral health and systemic health. So again, just another working chart for you. And then here is the risk assessment. So that is the one you've worked with last semester. And this is the dietary screening, which will be very important to have completed. So you'll want to do this along with the, before you give them the diet diary. Again, reading the assignment, and it helps you work through the order of things. And the assignment is here. It's due Monday, June 10th in class. All of it will be handed in to me. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask.